is still to be answered. We're all set to break down Championship Sunday, this fine Sunday morning on NFL Pregame Party. And then there were four. All right. Good morning, boys and girls. This is your host, Joe's Atmosphere, and I am joined by the best backup quarterback in the business, small time Republic. How you doing, Matt? Good to see you this morning.
Doing good. Just call me Brock Purdy, right?
That's right. You're not Mr. Irrelevant, though. You are far from irrelevant. I don't know where our compatriot is this morning. He's on his own for the first time in a while, so he might have gone out on the town last night. You never know.
Wouldn't be his first time to be out. After
well,
hours.
No. I think it was last week he was getting in at the last second, right? Of course, he's probably on the phone with his parents.
All right, move on. Nothing to see here. Please, Pittsburgh. Nothing to see here, please.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's good to see you, man.
Good to see you. Nobody could have done those movies as well as Leslie Nielsen.
There is no way they could have, man. There's no way. So, what do we got to talk about, boys and girls? Well, first of all, we've had two games since we talked to you last. We talked to you last Sunday morning. It was after the Eagles had destroyed the Giants in spectacular fashion. And the other game that day, I believe, was the Chiefs. Who did they?
Jacksonville.
They beat Jacksonville. That's right. And we had seen those games, and then we were waiting on the results of the I think the first one was that game was something else right there. The Bengals Bills game in the snow. How awesome was that? Really enjoyed that one. Of course, I love any NFL game that happens in the snow. I mean, because that's what you hope for when you're looking at these games, man. That is definitely what you're hoping for.
Yep.
Let me pull up, get the schedule. I've got to pull up some graphics from those games from last week. Here we go.
Unfortunately for the Bills, they were not facing, a dome team or some team that was not ready for the elements.
No, it was a team from Ohio that's used to that shit, and a quarterback that grew up in that shit. And I tell you what, I was watching film on it earlier this week, and hang on, I'm just trying to get the graphic up here for the game. Okay. Yeah. Bear with me, guys. My highlight guy is apparently still in bed, so we won't be having any highlights. We won't have to worry about getting dinged at all this week. But yeah, the final was 27-10, and to me, it didn't even look close. The Buffalo Bills were getting manhandled all over the field in that game. And you just can't say enough about Joe Cool. I mean, to be able to throw the ball in the elements the way he was, it was I mean, most quarterbacks can't do that. They'll make mistakes. And I only saw like one bad ball he threw, and it wasn't even that bad a ball. You know what I mean? It was really an impressive performance, man. It really was.
They controlled the game.
Yeah, they did. I mean, and it was, I mean, in the trenches, this much maligned front line of theirs was just overpowering the Bills.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if it would have been the same if Von Miller had been there. I think him missing really hurt their defense.
That's a factor.
Man. Yeah.
I don't know that it would have been enough. Even if let's say you put DeMar Hamlin and Von Miller out there on that defense, I still don't know that it would have been enough to stop them.
Yeah.
Now, and also 2022 Von Miller may not quite be 2015 Von Miller.
Yeah, true, but he's still a force.
Yeah, he's still good.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to the third and long situation, he's a master at getting at the quarterback. So I don't care what age he is. I'll take him anytime. I mean, just look at what that defense was doing with him earlier in the season. They were shutting people down. It was ridiculous. Let's see. We got, my man, the Dork Knight, who I'll be on with later on this afternoon, talking about the Royal Rumble. He says, damn, man, I'm sorry I called you. I forgot you were going live. The time zone thing confused me. Yeah, no, don't worry about it, man. That was that phone call you heard right at the beginning of it there. Let's see. Christian says, a great Sunday morning to you both. It's good to see you, Christian. But yeah, I love those games in the snow. Wish we had more of them. I wish every game in the playoffs was in the snow. I just think it's just great, man. I love those slugfests in the snow. The only thing that comes close is Candlestick Park in the rain. You know, the classic Cowboys-Niners game in the rain. And we did get a classic Cowboys-Niners game. Not quite as classic as some of the other ones, but still a Cowboys, Niners game. Nonetheless.
It was more of a game for Dan Quinn and D'Amico Ryans than anybody.
Really, the defenses showed that they showed up, no doubt. But much to the chagrin of the Dallas Cowboys fans, Dak Prescott once again let that interception bug get him. And I was watching some of those videos from the reactions of the fans to this stuff, and my God, man, they're throwing Dak under the bus big time, which he deserves it. I mean, he's the one that cost them. That team played good enough. The defense definitely played good enough to win, because the kind of run that Brock Purdy's been on, he was shut down. They shut down that offense most of the day. They did.
Well, we had talked about how eventually Brock Purdy was not going to have his best game.
Mm-hmm.
And but I mean, the Cowboys defense obviously had a lot to do with that as well. I just feel like with Dak Prescott and with Josh Allen, you've got two quarterbacks that are really talented, but it was in the big moment, that they pressed.
Yeah.
And
they did. And I hate it for Dak, because we've seen better out of him. I mean, the week before, he just destroyed the Buccaneers. But then again, the Buccaneers aren't what they were. They are definitely beat up and injured.
And you don't fire a bunch of assistant coaches if everything's well.
Yeah, right. Christian said, wow, I love games in the snow. You truly are a New England transplant. Oh, yeah, brother. I've got northern blood flowing through my veins. The only reason why I'm a Southerner is because I was born here and raised here, and I've lived here all my life. All my relatives are from up north. If my wife could handle the cold, we'd probably live up north. but I definitely love the snow, man. Any chance I get to be in that weather, I love being in it, man. It's fantastic stuff. But getting back to this one, I mean, what do the Cowboys do? And the news this week is that Dan Quinn is going to stick around. I think it's been made plain to him that he's the heir apparent
that was
in Dallas.
Very surprising.
That's the only thing I can figure. I mean, why would he even go through the friggin' interview process with these people if he's just going to stay?
Because he had to have an idea of what the money would be before he interviewed.
Right.
At least
Right.
some idea, because he's been a head coach before and he knows. I mean,
Yes.
he knows the market, So
Maybe he's
I
just
don't know.
feeling it out to see if it's a situation. Maybe just to see if there is a situation that would spark that want the head coach again. Maybe it's the fact that he's just comfortable doing what he does and he does it well.
Yep.
And that it's going to take something next level for him to get out of that.
Well,
You know what I mean?
To make a college comparison, Brent Venables at Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
He hung around at Clemson till he found the job he wanted.
Yeah.
Kirby Smart at Alabama. Hung
Right.
around at Alabama till he got the job he wanted. Dan Quinn.
He's doing the same.
doing the same thing.
It's the second off season in a row he could have he could have any of the 5 jobs that are open right now. I'm sure they'd be glad to take him. And now, speaking of that, one of them's already closed. Carolina has hired their guy, and I'm really going to be watching this one closely because I thought he was a good head coach and just could not get a trigger man, and that's Frank Reich. He's the Carolina Panthers head coach, and being a Saints fan, I'm sure you don't like that shit at all because his teams.
No.
You can say what you want about them, but they've been competitive. So
well, he got dealt a bad hand in Indianapolis.
Yeah,
look at all the quarterbacks he had to go through.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He never could get a trigger man. He had a running game. He had a defense. Never could get the trigger man.
Yep. And he got that job by helping Nick Foles win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And I guess they figured they could keep throwing retreads at him and get the most out of him. And man, the Carson Wentz thing more than anything, I think, cost him that job. Really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and Lord Toth says, morning, gents. It's good to see you, Lord Toth. But anyway, I've got one other thing I've got to pop up here. But so to wrap up the divisional round, I guess the team that came out smelling the best in that one was the Eagles. They really, really looked good. They really did. The 49ers offense is suspect now. That defense really shut them down. It took some spectacular. I don't know if you remember the catch that went that Kittle made.
I did
going
see
across
that,
the middle where he had to juggle it to get it in, but he stayed with it. I mean, it took some extra effort on that offense's part to get some things happening in that game.
For 10 yards, the ball was in the air, basically, between his fingers.
Oh, my God. He was chasing it down, tap after tap.
Yep.
I was like, damn, dude, bring it in already, But I think the Eagles looked the best coming out of there. But then again, they were playing probably the worst opponent out of the bunch, too.
They were.
I would imagine.
But the week before, the Giants looked good, so.
Yeah, against Minnesota. See, but you can't read that much into that Minnesota victory, though.
That's true.
Because Minnesota, dude, they play that game the next week. Minnesota hangs a 50 burger on them. You know what I mean?
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
It's up and down with them fools. You just don't know what's going to happen with them. You just don't know. And that's why I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the good news for the Eagles is I don't see Jalen Hurts having any ill effects from that shoulder surgery that he had.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just from my untrained eye, it looked like he could.
Yeah. That was the thing I was watching the most going into that game. What that injury was going to do for him. And speaking of injuries, have you heard anything about the high ankle sprain of probably he is the veteran left in the series. Patrick Mahomes, a guy that's been here every year for the last 5 years. He got a pretty good injury last week, and he looked visibly hobbled by it. He wasn't taken off anymore on that wheel. I think he ran once after that happened to him, and it wasn't for very far. And he got down really quick.
One interesting thing was that he, I think it was maybe his right ankle. So
which is his foot that he pushes off with. It's the plant foot. Yeah,
that's true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in the first half or the first quarter before he entered it, he did like a jump pass where he was coming off of his right ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the second half, he also had a jump pass. This one, I believe, was for a touchdown. And he made, it was in a scenario where he should really be coming off of his right leg based on
Mhm.
when he was needing to release the ball, but he had to like
Yeah.
shuffle his feet and jump off his left leg.
Right.
So he's having to do some things that are not comfortable for him.
Which, if any quarterback has to adapt to this, he's the one
Yep.
that can do it. Okay. The other guys that are maybe if this happened to Hurts, he might be able to handle it.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is guys that move a lot out of the pocket and stuff. But Purdy and Joe Cool, I don't think they could adapt to this too well. This particular injury that he's got. That would definitely hurt Joe Burrow. And Purdy, well, we haven't seen enough out of him yet to even know what it would do to him. I don't know. You get to how tall is Purdy? I haven't really looked, but he looks like a dwarf back there. Of course, you know, the 49ers are one of those teams getting off the bus. They look like fucking Hercules. So, you know, he could be 6'2" for all I know and just look like a dwarf with all those guys.
Yeah. He's listed as 6'1".
6'1". Okay. Yeah. So he is short. Yeah. I got you.
That means he could be 6
relatively by quarterback standards. Yep. Yes. Okay. But that's the vision. I see him under center and I'm like, who is this kid, man? Good Lord, you know. But
and even when he was in college, I thought, well, he's okay. I mean, he might make an NFL roster.
Yeah.
I had no idea the guy would be potentially going to the Super Bowl.
Now, let me ask you something. Where did he play college ball at?
He played at Iowa State.
Iowa State.
And
wow.
They've been
Big
up
12.
and down.
You grab any quarterback out of the Big 12, they can throw. Because that's all we do in that conference, man. It's all spread offenses, throwing the football, man. That's all it is.
And Mike Leach, I mean, he helped change that league into that.
Mm-hmm.
Between his time at Oklahoma and Texas Tech.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So coming out of that round, what does Jerry Jones do with the Cowboys, man? I guess they're kind of. Do they trade Dak? Do they stick with him? I mean,
they got a lot of money committed to him and Elliott, right?
Yeah,
so
they do, and
I don't know.
It may be time to. I hate to tell you, Cowboys fans, but when it comes to your offense, it may be time to, blow it up and redo it because I think you've gotten as far as you're going to go with this particular offense. Really,
Kellen Moore is considered a good coordinator.
He's not the one. Look, this is one, and I every time I make that argument, this is what my brother throws back at me, and I wish he was here to say this because he's great at saying it. You can coach them all day. The players got to play the game. There's players out there making the plays, and these interceptions are not on Kellen Moore, dude. They're not. Okay.
Yeah.
But that game did change. Now, that game did change when Pollard went down significantly. When he got hurt in that game, that's when it turned into 90% throwing. And because Zeke is just, I don't know what it is with that guy, but he is just not what he used to be. He's not slipping tackles like he used to, Pollard is the guy that stirs the drink there now. And when he went down, they were in trouble. It totally changed when he went down in that game. So maybe you hang it on that and try it again. I don't know. But yeah, it sure looks like, dude, the memes coming out of this are just horrendous apparently Dak Prescott and Tony Romo have exactly the same playoff record now. Oh yeah.
Not what it should be.
Not what it should be, right? 0-3 in the divisional round, and they're 2-4 altogether in the playoffs.
Well, that was against Tampa Bay. That was the first road playoff game they had won in 30 years.
Yes,
absolutely. Or 29 years, 30 years, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm. And the last time it was done, it was Aikman doing it in Candlestick Park. And that's a long time ago, man. I remember those battles. That's back when the NFC Championship game was the Super Bowl. It didn't matter who showed up for the AFC. They were going to get destroyed by whoever won that game. It was ugly. I mean, and the NFC East, other than the 49ers, it was usually the NFC East doing it. It was the Giants, the Redskins, and the Cowboys in the 90s just freaking destroyed everybody, man.
Well, and I mean, even in the 80s, the Giants and the Redskins.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Were They were tough to handle. But yeah, I don't know where they go. Kellen Moore was there even before Mike McCarthy got there.
Yeah, he's been there a while.
As a
I
coach
think
and a
he's
player.
been the coordinator. Wasn't he the coordinator under Garrett for? Well, I think
the last couple years
God.
of Garrett, I believe.
Yeah. He started under Garrett, I believe. Yeah. Boy, Garrett, man. Just a side note. He is grinning ear from ear watching all this stuff, man. He's just, there's a classic meme of him on the sideline with a kind of look on his face, and it says, "And you motherfuckers thought it was me."
Yep.
Right. Nothing's changed. It's all the same, right?
Well, and this year Garrett was able to kind of, I guess, kick back. He
he's in studio and he's covering all the games. That's what I'm saying. The shit-eating grin he's got on his face talking about all that entire division is just, I think it's hilarious, because I always liked Garrett. I always thought he was, a lot of people thought he was just a rah-rah clap guy, and just a puppet, and all this stuff. What was funny was, I don't know if you watched it or not, but the day after, I think, it might have been that Saturday night, when they did the broadcast he was on after Daniel Jones had the showing he did against Minnesota. That guy acted like his kid had won a football game on the friggin' thing, because he had a lot to do with developing him when he first got there, and because he was the offensive coordinator, and he was like a proud pop on that set, man. It was pretty funny. It was pretty cool.
Well, I was doubting that Daniel Jones was even a good draft pick, but to an extent, he's proven me wrong. I thought.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's a win now league now, right? So they're expecting everybody coming out of college to play at a high level. It's not always like that, guys. Some of these guys, it takes a while for them to get the speed of the NFL and learning an offense and all that stuff. Not everybody is Joe Burrow. Not everybody's Tom Brady. Some of these guys, it takes work and learning. And to his credit, Daniel Jones is not sitting on his laurels. He is putting in work, and it shows. He's getting better every year. So, I think they should stick with that kid. They've got a good thing going there with him. They just need to build around it. But the window's closing on that one too, though, because he's been around for a little bit now. So he's not a spring chicken anymore.
But as far as Dallas, I don't know what with the contract you've got with Dak, you'd have to have the right situation to try to move him.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a cap hit no matter what they do. So it's.
And considering how sometimes he does play like a league MVP, you better have a good replacement in mind if you're going to move him.
Right. Right.
Don't try to put Nick Foles in there.
No, don't be, and I wouldn't even say putting Cooper Rush out there. I would say you need to go get a Lamar Jackson or somebody that's going to be on the market that's really good. You better go get if you're going to move on from that, you better get somebody that's really good. You better go say, "Hey, Aaron, come play one more year for us," or something like that. It's got to be something big. And one other thing I wanted to, I remembered I queued this up. I just wanted to let all you guys that wanted to see Buffalo and the Chiefs again. I just wanted to share this with you because I love this. I just do. Yes, I'm an Oklahoma Sooners fan, but I always root for LSU just so my brother will have a good day because he bleeds purple and gold. And if they lose, he's just upset. So we're definitely watching this guy. And this I thought was funny.
We talked about it yesterday, just that chip on your shoulder. Everyone talking about a neutral AFC championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
That is awesome. Better send those refunds, boys and girls. That's it's so funny, man. Everybody that is a Kansas City fan has got to buy another ticket and get their refund, right?
Yep.
Lord Toss is laughing my ass off.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah.
The guy just, he He does not hold back in any way.
No,
He is
no.
100% forward all the time.
Yes, but you know what? Some people may call it cocky. I call it confidence, man. You know, this guy wants his cigar. He wants his cigar at the end of the game, man. He wants to win, and you got to love that about him. I know Bengals fans have got to. Look, this is how bad it is. I was actually in the ER last night with one of the clients, and a guy came in there with a Bengals hoodie on, and I'm in Shreveport, Louisiana. And a guy came in a Bengals hoodie. I said, you know what? That's an LSU fan right there. I can tell right now.
You probably had a lot of LSU fans that, like, you know, maybe if they weren't hardcore Saints fans or hardcore fans of any team, they might have hopped on the Bengals bandwagon.
You know they have.
They drafted Burrow just to have a team.
You know it, man.
A relevant team, too.
And it's the Bengals, right? It's another Tiger team. Right. So, you know,
from the Bayou Bengals to the, I don't know what you call it, the chili hot dog Bengals.
Whatever you'd call them, man. Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, so that's divisional weekend. That's what we had. And it was, the games were good. The only one that was bad was the Eagles-Giants game. And wow, did the wheels come off of that? It was horrible. But the rest of the games were good. Jacksonville actually had a good showing against the Chiefs, I thought. And but, you know, once again, that's a young team trying to learn how to win, you know, and there was dropped balls all over the place and stuff. You could tell the youth of that team. They haven't been there before. It's a big stage for them. And it's hard to go into Kansas City and win. It just is. So, but kudos to them. 1 year with an actual head coach, and all of a sudden, hey, what's up? We got a ball game. You know what I mean?
It's also a testament to Kansas City, though, in the fact that their star player gets hurt early on, and there was no panic.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had a plan. You know, the backup did what he was supposed to do. To me, that's where a head coach and a coordinator, where they really start to shine.
Mm-hmm.
When you have guys that go down and the machine keeps rolling.
Yep. Oh my gosh, who is this? We got a talking logo today. Good morning. Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, you know, I set my alarm for 9:00 and they woke me up because I had two alarms on 2 different phones.
Oh.
And I was like, snooze. 2.5 hours later. I'm waking up like there was nothing in between those 2.5 hours. Like I was like, it's 11:30. Jesus!
It's like Michael J. Fox in Bright Lights, Big City. He walks out of the club and the sun is already up.
And the sun is already up.
I didn't even stay up that late last night. I stayed up until like 10:30.
Oh, we figured you went clubbing in DC or something.
No, like nothing. I didn't drink last night. Nothing. Like it was just a straight. Went to sleep, and it was like I said, it was like 10:30, and you know, God, I slept way too much.
Christian DeLorme says, "Good afternoon, Knox.
Hey
What's
there,
up,
buddy.
man?
Wasted half my damn day."
Yeah. Well, we were just wrapping up divisional weekend. If you have any thoughts about the games, please feel free to add it in. We were about to get started on today's conference games. But,
let's see. Eagles destroyed the Giants.
Yeah.
49ers. Who did 49ers play?
49ers played the Cowboys. Come on, man. Wake up, son. That's what the discussion's been for the last 15 minutes is what the Cowboys are supposed to do in the offseason with this inept offense they've got. Yeah.
You know, I saw a lot of memes about the last play in the Cowboys game and how it was so dumb. I was like, what play? What would have been the greatest play ever?
Right.
You know, if they actually, that could have actually worked. Besides, some miracle.
They at least were trying something new. Right?
Yeah, I mean, like if it had worked, it would have been hailed as the greatest play ever imagined.
Knock, I'm glad you brought that up. We had not talked about that yet.
I thought it was a little strange that people were making fun of that one. That because it's like, okay, really, yeah, like what could they have come up with? So it was pretty, I get that the execution kind of sucked, but really.
Yeah. Lord Toss says he's got to go shovel snow. See you in a little bit, man. And let's see. I'm waiting for around 6 p.m. when it stops. Yeah, they're getting some snow up north. And he also says I might do that. Actually, looking outside, it is still snowing pretty hard.
Well, listen,
man.
you guys, all you have to do is just have heated driveways, and you wouldn't have to worry about
Oh,
it.
my
I don't
God.
understand. Like, why don't you?
These people live in rural areas, dude. No, it takes a shovel. But getting back to the Cowboys game, yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Yeah, it's I tell you what would help. Not throwing so many picks would help.
Yep.
That would help.
Yeah, you know, I mentioned that, and I was mad. I was texting Joe. I was like, "There's pick number 1." Because we talked about
he
that
was counting off.
last week.
Yeah.
There's if he throws picks, it's going to screw him up, and
He
it cost him points. So,
did.
By the way, on that last play, I did laugh watching Zeke get destroyed.
Oh my God! Yeah,
no, that's always the greatest.
Yeah,
my
I'm not a
gosh.
Cowboys hater, but it was just funny.
Well, the thing about it is, they usually have Zeke in there because he's a better pass protector. In long distance downs. That's the knock on Pollard, is that he can't block that well in those situations. That's why
they showed. Did they show one in the game where he just completely took a guy out that was blitzing?
Who, Zeke?
No, Pollard.
Pollard did? Wow.
Yeah,
maybe he's gotten better at it.
It was either this week or that week or the week before. Like that. There was one play I kind of remember it, and maybe I remember it getting wrong, but I thought it was Pollard. But maybe it was just the one time.
Now you got these guys discussing heated driveways. Look at you, man. Crazy. Okay, so but what was your biggest take out of divisional weekend, man? What was your biggest take there?
What's going to happen? How healthy is Mahomes? That was pretty.
We discussed
the same
that
tackle
earlier
that took out Pollard. Happened to Mahomes. So
and he was ginger on it the rest of the game. We were talking about.
Yeah, he was ginger, and then they showed him. Of course, during the week there was video footage of him jogging around the fields, and he's fine. How's he going to look after one hit? That's going to be the question. It's always that one hit that
what's it going to do to his head?
Or something like that.
What's it going to do to his head? Yeah, because that shit hurts, dude.
The Bengals have more firepower on offense than the Jags.
Yeah,
do.
Bengals really have the Chiefs number right now, and that's why we'll discuss the games before.
Yeah,
but the Bengals,
that's the second game today. But
that's crazy that the Bengals beat up the Bills like that. I guess I don't know what's going on with the Bills. That's another thing. I think the loss of Von Miller definitely hurt their defense. That's the reason they brought him in was to help that defense, and it showed. And then the offense Josh Allen isn't Superman.
Nope.
he looked a little bit more like Dak than Josh Allen. Just kind of reckless with the ball.
Yeah,
Dak Allen. I will say this: there is one move that I'm pretty sure the Cowboys might make. Kicker.
Well, yeah, I would imagine.
Just maybe.
Wow. When they were destroying the Buccaneers, they couldn't get an extra point.
They held on to Jason Garrett for quite a while, so they might hold on to this kicker until.
Come on,
but the extra point that he got blocked would have been a miss.
It did look like that. Yeah.
It looks like
which is really strange because he had a great season. He only missed like 3 field goals.
Yeah, it's like he all of a sudden
he just got the yips.
He got the yips right at the wrong time, man.
Well,
wow.
I mean, you can say the wrong time, but I think it was a good time since they were beating up the Buccaneers. So if there's ever a time to miss 4 field goals, it's when your team is dominating.
Yeah, but that first one, dude, the first one he kicked in this game last weekend.
Yeah, but
the Niners. Even if that guy, the only reason why that guy got a hand on it is because he hooked the shit out of it right into him. I mean, if he hadn't touched that ball, it still was going straight left.
Yeah, but he came back and he made every other field goal.
He did. He made some field goals for him down the stretch. But you were talking about the Chiefs, and right before you came on, I think it's worth showing again. All you guys that bought all those tickets,
Everyone talking about a neutral AFC championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. Too fucking funny. I love it.
The only thing I have with that clip is something that it reminded me of looking at Burrow's jersey where it had the C on his shirt and it said it was like his third year being a captain.
Yeah.
I'm tired of these rookie captains.
Captains, yeah. They need to have veteran captains. You're right about that. I agree with you completely. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Let's see. What's Jeebus talking about? Or Christian says, in commie Canada, we are not allowed having a pellet gun. Look at these guys. They're just going off in the chat about crazy shit.
Buy a flamethrower to melt the snow. Oh.
There you go. Buy a flamethrower. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good job, Monkey Jeebus. Yes.
I've seen that.
Anyway, oh shit. I got a tip from Mr. Delorme, who is a customer of mine. As a matter of fact, he's got a package heading his way. Let's see what did he tell us here. Let me check my dashboard. See what he had to say this morning. Oh, he did it anonymously. You gave yourself away there, buddy. He said, "Hey, bartender, I tipped you." And he says, "Take one for the team, Joe. Just once. Tell me when. Have an Old Milwaukee on stream, and I will join you." Oh shit, Old Milwaukee. He is ate up with the Old Milwaukee, man. Okay, I tell you what. I'll see if I can find a can just for the next time, and I will let you know on Gilded when I'm going to do it. Okay. Christian says phrasing Joe about packages. You guys,
I will say
this relentless.
You say Old Milwaukee, that brings up a memory. I want to say I was maybe 10 years old, fishing with my granddad.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Have a sip of this." And it was Old Milwaukee. And that was the first beer I'd ever tasted.
Really?
And I didn't have another beer till I was 18 or 19. Because just for whatever reason, when you're 10, Old Milwaukee doesn't go down so smooth. So
no beer goes down smooth when you're 10, man.
Yeah.
My first one was a Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. My dad and I he was showing me how to do brakes on a car. And I think I was maybe 9 years old. Yeah. What about you, Noc? What was the first beer you had, bro?
Oh, I'm sure I had something when I was a kid, and I didn't like the taste of it. I still don't like the taste of beer.
Yeah, beer's not that great. Yeah.
It would probably been like a Coors Light.
Yeah. If I could find Zima locally, I would buy that. That's always been my favorite bottled, non-whiskey drink. You know what I mean?
Just don't tell the internet, Joe. They might give you heck for that.
Yeah, you never know. They might. I could be a sponsor for Zima. Yeah, no doubt.
If it's still out there.
I don't even know if it's out there still or not. But boy, when I was a bartender in the 90s, that's all I drank. That was it. It's flat 7-Up, basically, malt liquor. Yep. But anyway, okay. So final thoughts on divisional weekend there, Noc. They already been hearing from us about it.
Last thought, that was Mahomes.
Yeah.
How's Mahomes going to do this week?
Yeah.
With that, if his injury is pretty bad. No, I think we got the 4 best teams.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
I don't know if you saw this earlier on Twitter. I got to show you this, bud. This was pretty cool looking. I put it on for the beginning of the show. And I'm sure some AI art thing made it, but check that out. That's a pretty cool graphic right there. It looks like
it really is. It's a lot better than that one from a few years ago where it was Nick Foles, Tom Brady, Blake Bortles, and Kirk Cousins, I think it was.
Right. Yeah.
Or no, Case Keenum.
Yep. But yeah, Mahomes is the old man of the bunch.
Right.
Wow. You know?
Noc, you didn't win a Super Bowl with Bortles and Keenum?
Could you imagine? Would there be a reception in that game? Jesus Christ, man.
Well, if Stephon Diggs had anything to say about it, yeah. But,
right? I'm always open. Yeah.
He's not a happy camper, but
right.
It would be.
He's not. Okay, so let's get into it, boys and girls. The first one we got at 2 p.m. Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. We got the Niners heading to the Philadelphia Eagles. This is going to be a great game, guys. And I guess if we learned anything last week is that the up against a good defense, that Niners offense can be slowed down. They really, to his credit, Purdy didn't turn the ball over, never did, right? But they definitely weren't getting the shots they usually take. They shut down McCaffrey most of the game. It was a tough struggle there.
I
The
think he still
defenses
had over
really
100
showed up.
yards though. from
Yeah,
scrimmage.
before it was over with. But I'm saying he didn't have that big run that he
Yeah.
usually, that big
Well,
rip that he
wasn't
usually gets.
wasn't his first play a really big rip for a touchdown?
Was it?
His biggest play? Wasn't that last week?
I don't know. I
Well,
can't remember.
yeah, I missed a lot of the first half last week. Now he did have that big opening play the week before. On the first.
Is that it?
drive.
Let me.
Yep.
Lord Toth says tough one to call. 49ers by a squeak. I really think that this game is going to be decided when the Niners offense is on the field and the Eagles defense is on the field, because if their defense has been good, I think they're number one against the pass, aren't they? The Eagles, I'm pretty sure they're pretty high up against the pass. They've been getting picks like crazy, but if they're susceptible to anything, it's the run. That's where they struggle against good running teams. So I think if the Niners can run the football and do that, well, the blueprint is there. The first team that beat them this year, it was Minnesota, wasn't it? The freakish up and down Minnesota Vikings.
Right, yeah.
Wasn't it them that beat them? And they did it by having
Oh, the
8
Eagles?
minutes.
No. It was the Commanders.
It was the
They
Commanders.
destroyed the Vikings.
Okay, it was the Commanders. But the way they did it, though, was with those 8-9 minute drives, keeping them on the sidelines. I do remember that. Their time of possession was freakish, and I think they ran the ball over 50 times in that game, if I remember correctly. And that's what I think the Niners are going to have to do to win this game. Make sure that it doesn't get put in Purdy's hands, if you understand what I'm saying, fellas.
Yeah, I feel like the Eagles will probably take this one. Again, that's after me singing the Niners' praises for the past few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They just seem like the most complete team,
Mm-hmm.
and playing at home is a factor. I don't know. I feel like the Eagles will win. I don't think the Niners will play bad necessarily, but the Eagles just seem like the hottest team right now to me.
Yeah. And that's the way I'm leaning too. And it's simply because they can score. They can score. And the Niners, they don't hang a bunch on you, but they shut you down. Defensively, that's really the strength of that team, is the running game and their defense. They play smash mouth football. And
well, yeah, and they try to use their offense to play to the defense.
Yep.
In terms of running safe plays and running the ball, and it works most of the time. But
they play field position. There's no two ways about it. They do. They try and pin the offense deep, play on that side of the field the whole game, and that's how they mount those big leads. Is they get short fields, and that's how they score. What do you think, Noc? I think that the Niners are the guys with the pressure on them. They have to play a good game. They have to stick with that running game, to me. What do you think?
It's going to be a tough one, man, because this is the number one defense going against pretty much the number one offense in terms of like points per game and things like that. And it's just, I think it's all going to rest on Purdy.
Yeah.
Is Purdy going to be able to do enough?
Can he rise to the occasion? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I just think I think it's going to, despite the defense, it's probably still going to be a shootout, because I don't think you can rely on Hurts doing the picks like Dak did.
That's I don't think that's happening, because they're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball. The Eagles are definitely going to run the ball. Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, because there have been times where the Eagles just get away from the run game for some god awful reason. I watched them. I had Miles Sanders on my team all year for fantasy, and there was times where you just want, why aren't you running the fucking ball? And they're like, we need to run the ball more, and then they don't. So there's frustrating times where they don't run the ball enough. So
Matthew Johnson asks, what would you guys say would be an advantage for the Eagles in this game? Well, their running game, and like Noc was just saying, sometimes they get away from it, and they shouldn't.
Hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yep.
That is the advantage they have. The guy is playing.
Yeah,
and he looks like he's okay from the surgery.
Yeah, that as we were talking.
Yeah,
about
they came out swinging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is not looking like he's hurting at all, is he, Noc? He's looking good.
I'm right now. I'm just imagining Noc in his fantasy football championship. He's down by 4 points. They've got the ball on the 2-yard line, and they haven't been running the ball well, and they decide to run it. And Keith Gainwell gets the touchdown, and Noc breaks.
That's what would happen too. Yeah. I actually won my fantasy football team because the Chiefs and Bengals game did not, the Bengals Bills game.
Really? You won it because they didn't play that game?
I would have won.
Yep, because my opponent had 2 players in that game and they didn't play, so I won by like 10 points because of it.
I would have won my week had the game happened. I had Mixon and the Bengals kicker, and was only down by a few points. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. I'm glad the guy survived. That was the main thing coming out of that game.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it comes down to Jalen Hurts, and I don't know about you guys, but the leap he's taken from last year and his accuracy with the football to this year, it's kind of like when Josh Allen did it a couple of years ago. When he made that leap. I believe that's it. That's
Josh Allen's first year with the Bills, where they played maybe a wild card game in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just still so rough around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like he's better now than he was then. So it takes time. Like we talked about Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
It's time to get
that. Like I said, it's a win now league, and they expect everybody to know it coming out of college. But some of these guys, it takes time. Yep. What were you saying, Noc? I'm sorry.
I'm just looking, and I'm curious as to. I'm looking at the Eagles' schedule, right? And I'm wondering, looking at this list, because last week they talked about the defense for the Cowboys against the 49ers offense, right, and slowing them down. Yeah. What defense has the Eagles gone against, right? And you're looking at the list, and you got the Giants from last week, and then before that you had the Lions. You had the Vikings. You had the Commanders. You had the Jaguars.
You're
you had
right.
The Cardinals.
Probably the best defense they played.
The last one was probably the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. So, and that's a divisional game, so you can't, it's kind of hard to count those. And then Steelers, Texans, Colts, Pack, they didn't play very good defenses during the year. So the 49ers is the best defense, outside
in the
of
league.
Cowboys.
Yes, they are. Top to bottom, they are the best.
So I think there's a lot more to say to, hey, what are they going to look like? That offense going to look? Yeah, it's been like a well-oiled machine lately, but who have they played? Mm-hmm. Who have they played as far as defense goes? The Commanders, were the ones they lost against, right. And they did some plays. But they beat them the second time. But looking at the scoreboards, they only got 24 points average in their games against these whatever defenses.
Right.
And then the Lions, they scored 38 points, but the Lions don't have a defense. So it's just a little curious as to how they're going to fare on the defense.
They're definitely going to get hit in the mouth,
so
aren't they? We've chronicled how it's a different thing playing the 49ers. On both sides of the ball, you're going to get wrecked. If you don't eat your Wheaties, you're going to get hurt playing the 49ers, no doubt, on both sides of the ball. I mean, these corners that are really good at the pass defense, I hope they're ready to get hit today, because there's some big wide receivers, a guy named Deebo Samuel, I know, that will blow somebody out of their cleats, on a running play. So, yeah.
Whoa. Hey, check. Just got an alert on my phone. Stetson Bennett arrested, brought in by the police on public intoxication charges.
Stetson Bennett. Who is that?
Wow. He is the quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, my God,
they
no.
recently won the NCAA championship.
Kids will be kids, bro.
Yeah,
will
he's
be
taking. I
kids.
mean, he's 25 years old, so I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
about kids, but
Yeah.
he's
Yeah, well-
he's still celebrating apparently. To you, it's a kid. I understand, but
Well, yeah, everybody's a kid to me, but you understand what I'm saying.
I mean, Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson is 25 years old, so the kid,
Yeah,
he should be. In the
we've got
NFL,
some vets in
but,
the NFL that are 25. Yeah.
Yeah, more like a
the,
Stetson
average,
Van Wilder.
the average.
Well, listen, our
Yeah, right.
backup quarterback has got to go. So let's go ahead and talk about the last game and get his thoughts on it before we get him out of here. Let me.
By the way, I did want to mention one other thing. When you said Debo, every time I hear Debo, I think of the wrestler. He was Zeus, but
Mhm.
the actor in Friday, the movie.
Yeah.
Debo. Yeah.
Yep. Mhm. I hear you, man.
And the football player Debo will hit you as hard as the character.
Dude, that guy. Oof.
I do got to show this before we move on because it is. Let's see.
Okay, throw it up there, buddy. When I see it, I shall share it. Okay. There you go.
This is also going to
He's
be a
not even
factor.
really
This
part
guy.
of the route. This is just scramble drill.
Yes, we talked about this play. Yes,
Breaks
I said
the rule. You
we were talking about how the Niners had to make plays in this one, and yeah,
First
it's
the circus
yeah.
one-hand catch.
Insane.
yeah, that was insane. Absolutely was. Sure as heck was. We talked about that very play, how they were going to have to make plays like that, during this game. But yes, I'm with you. Okay, let's take a look at the afternoon game. I mean, on paper, if you look at the history, it's the Bengals to lose, isn't it? I mean, the one team Kansas City did not want to see.
Yeah.
Is there. And wow.
I know at
You
one point
know?
earlier in the week, I don't know what it is now, but the Bengals are actually favored by a point. Which
Really?
would be very rare for Kansas City at home to not be favored.
Yeah, not to be favored,
But
especially
it's because of
and in a
Mahomes.
playoff game, no doubt.
Mahomes'
know?
ankle is the X factor here. If
Mhm.
he's not 100%, well, actually, you know what? Even if he is 100%, I think the
He's
Bengals.
just. I think Andy Reid can easily, make a plan. They're just
Yeah.
they're not going to be any tricks and oh my god plays. But even then, he'll probably still because that football players, he's still going to run the ball. Like he's even when he was
Yeah.
limping
Now,
last week, he's still.
Let's tell the truth. He's going to get shot up before this game, and adrenaline takes over at some point. So,
And then they were like, "Yeah, Mahomes. It's reported that Mahomes is going to play in this game. Of course, he's going to freaking
of course
play.
he's
in
going to
this game.
play.
What's he
Come
going to
on
do? Sit on the
now.
sideline in the championship
That's never
game?
been a question in my
God.
mind.
I think he
so,
got shot up at
so
halftime.
dumb, man.
Yeah,
These reports
it is
sometimes
dumb.
are just ridiculous. Like, did you really?
Lord Toth says, I dislike Kansas City. Go Bengals. Knox in that camp too. Trust me.
By the
No
way,
love
I'm going for the
Kansas City.
49ers this week.
Are you? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm pulling for them too. I just, if you put a gun to my head, I'd say the Eagles, just because I think overall they're a better team.
Until Purdy comes down to earth.
Right.
I'm
right.
riding them all
yeah.
the way.
And I understand. It's just, I'm pulling for
And I
them,
like the defense.
and I think they can do it, but I think it's harder for them to win than it is the Eagles. All the cards are in the Eagles deck, you know? I mean, and so, yeah. And who you got in that one, Matt?
I think the
Eagles,
Bengals will
Niners?
take it just because.
No,
No, the previous one, Matt.
The previous
the
one.
previous one, I'll take the Eagles.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, the Bengals Chiefs game. Yeah, it's all about Mahomes' ankle, if you ask me.
Yep.
That and the previous history. We know what Joe's going to do. And it don't matter how
this
many
is a
times you
shootout.
hit him. Yeah.
This is a shootout.
Whoever
It
gets the
doesn't
ball
matter.
last. That's. I mean, that's about all I can say.
But I think even if Mahomes is near 100% somehow, I still feel like the Bengals right now they're the hotter team.
Yeah, they are. And it's amazing.
And
how
I'm
physically
wondering
they
if
played.
I'm wondering if Mahomes is going to try it with that ankle, if he's going to try to do too much, and that's going to be the downfall where, maybe the Bengals get an extra possession or two off a pick because Mahomes
I
has
hear
done
you.
that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
And
has.
once
Yeah.
the Bengals build that lead, it's going to be hard to come back from that. Bengals don't give up leads. They don't
No,
do
they don't.
comebacks.
They wear you
Well,
down
so-
after that, dude.
I
They
believe
start
they-
Yeah,
throwing
that's
Mixon
that's
that
when
shit
Joe
and-
Mixon comes in and,
Yeah.
kind of
They-
deal. So
they-
it's
And Mixon was, I mean, he was hurting them early last week.
Yep. Sure was.
I mean, I know Noc never
Look,
sees
they got
Mixon
an
make a good
all
play.
Oklahoma backfield there, brother. That's one thing I love about the Bengals. They got Mixon and they got P. Ryan backing him up. Boomer
that's
Sooner,
true.
baby. Right? Let's get on that wagon train and go. I like both them guys. But, we were talking earlier, Noc, about how physical the Bengals played against Buffalo. They were smacking those guys around. So, I mean, can you call the Kansas City Chiefs a physical team? I don't think you can.
Their defense is not good. Their defense is not that good.
Suspect, if you ask me, man. I
think it's like 15th or like the middle of the pack. Like it's not going to do it.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking the Bengals in this one, man. The Chiefs are going to have to pull something off to beat them because they're in their head. This is the team they did not want to see.
Mm.
Well, they've lost the last 3 to them, I believe.
Yeah, the last 3 times. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Matthew Johnson says the unsung hero of the Bengals is the defensive coordinator. I'm surprised he hasn't been interviewed for a head coaching job. Well, he might be. They're still in the playoffs. He might be interviewed for this stuff. But I feel you. Yeah, he's doing a great job with a bunch of people. I can't name somebody on their defense. Can you? I can't. I don't know anybody on their defense, but they're doing a good job.
I really know.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely all scheme what they're doing there.
And part of the reason why there's 4 vacancies for head coaching right now is because you still got coordinators in the playoffs that these teams want to talk to, or I know there's still some scenarios where they can talk to them, but they can't really name them head coach while they're still
and Sean Payton's taking his sweet time.
Right, Sean's taking his time.
It's going to be Texans or Broncos, I think, for Peyton.
I think so too. Especially now that the Panthers are out of the mix.
It really depends on. I think it just all depends on what Sean Payton wants to do. Does he want to rebuild a team, or does he want to go to a team that's pretty much ready made and he just needs to work up with a quarterback that's 5'0" that he's worked with before?
Right.
So,
right. Noc, does he have a 10-year plan or does he have a 3-year plan? If it's a 3-year plan, he's coming to your house. But if it's a 10-year plan, he's going.
He knows he's not going to get more money. He knows he's not going to get more money than at Wally World, in Denver. So it's
okay. Hang on, Noc. Hang on,
Matt. He's fixing to get paid.
I know you've got to go. Just want to let you know we're off next week. We'll do this again Super Bowl Sunday. But thanks for being here. And you got any last words for the folks before you duck out?
No, just hope everybody
discuss it next week.
No, we don't want to discuss this next week. I'm going to take a week off, man. I'm doing a lot of shit. We're going to be here.
The off season.
We're going to be here Super Bowl Sunday, and I don't watch the Pro Bowl, especially with this bullshit they're going to put on this time around. Get the hell out of here!
Sounds like a lot of hijinks at the.
It sounds like it sounds like one of these freaking NBA All-Star games. And
You're talking about Snoop Dogg's going to be there, and
no.
I'm just imagining. Remember the ABC show Wipeout?
Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining for the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm watching it for Peyton and Eli, so that's why I'm watching it.
Well, yeah, I figured that because that should be a lot of fun. Christian says later, Matt. Enjoy your Sunday, and thanks, Matt. I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome.
We will see you Super Bowl Sunday, or well, I might see you Wednesday.
But, I'm a maybe
until I see
Wednesday,
you again.
and,
you take care, man.
And got a family function, so.
Give us your pick for this one. You got the Bengals, right? Is that correct?
Yep, got the Bengals and the Eagles.
Okay. Well, go have fun with your family, man, and I'll talk to you soon.
See you guys,
Matt.
Thanks.
Bye. So, man. I believe Matthew has a point there about their defense. That they're rising to the occasion. I don't see a lot of leakage in their game right now. So. Let's see. What's he saying? See you, Christian Delorme. Yeah. Okay. But I think the Bengals win this, man. It's just half of this is how you're playing at this point in the season. And I really think they're on a roll, dude.
Yeah,
They're going
if they
right back
hadn't had
to it.
if they hadn't stumbled out of the gate, this game might have been played in Cincinnati
Yes,
or a neutral site,
absolutely.
because they should have been in that discussion as well, because
Yes.
they had beaten the Chiefs already in the
Mhm.
regular season, and they have. It's so hard to. I don't like the idea of judging that game based off most of the first quarter, but they were winning in that game
They were.
against the Bills, and
Mhm.
they were looking really good. So they probably
Mhm.
could have beaten them in that game, but
Mhm.
we'll never know.
No.
But if they had beaten the Bills, they would have only been a game behind the Chiefs.
Yep.
And I had the Cincinnati, 3 weeks ago, I had Cincinnati being number one.
Mhm.
But of course, then the Raiders screwed that up and sat Derek Carr, and the Raiders had no chance to beat the Chiefs in Week 18. So that
Yeah.
kind of blew that one out of the water. But
Mhm.
the Cincinnati had a chance. If they hadn't stumbled out of the gate, then they could have been number one. That was it. It was win losses. That's the only reason why they were not number one.
Yeah, for sure. But as far as how they're playing right now, man, I mean, if you believe in the theory that a lot of people have that Burrow is Brady 2.0, it's
I
going to
don't
be
know how
hard
you
to beat
call
the
him
guy.
Brady 2.0, because he doesn't have the same background as Brady.
Doesn't have the same
I'm sure there's
background,
a
but he
better
plays like
comparison.
him, man. He gets rid of the ball fast. He
Nah,
does not hang on to that ball.
He's way better than Brady was at this time, certainly in his
Yes,
career.
absolutely. That's not what I'm
I'd say
saying.
he's better than Brady at this point.
Yeah, but it's just the guy.
You know who he
He's
is?
got it.
He's Joe Cool. That's who he is.
That's it. He's his own guy. No
He's his
doubt.
own guy at this point.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier before you got here, but and what I was struck by was, of course, I love snow football games. I live for this time of year when it's bad elements and all that good stuff. How well that guy threw the ball in the elements.
Yeah, they weren't
he
scared of
looked
the snow at all.
great. Yeah. What a bad draw for the Bills. Anybody else would have come up, like, imagine Miami going up there and that stuff. They'd have gotten crushed,
Whoa,
but these guys,
Miami
they
did
don't
pretty
care,
well, but
I mean, Joe Burrow's from Ohio and he's grown up in that stuff. So he's not even worried about it being cold or snowing out. It was just impressive to see how well he threw the football. I only saw a couple of bad balls come out of his hand. So, I really think it's, my brother, what I'm rooting for is what my brother is rooting for. And he's a Joe Burrow fan because he's an LSU Tiger fan. And he said he wants to see the San Francisco 49ers versus the Cincinnati Bengals round 3 in the Super Bowl.
that's my picks.
And he wants to see Joe Burrow break the curse. So,
if I didn't like the 49ers so much, I would say that too.
Yeah.
But I think Mr. Irrelevant winning a Super Bowl would be one of the best things
It would
ever.
be amazing.
But I am in agreement. I am a huge fan. I went for the Eagles when they were in the Super Bowl because they had never had one before. I am absolutely full on. If the Bengals win, I wouldn't be mad.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, because I don't have any skin in these games. So any 4 of these teams could win the Super Bowl, and I wouldn't mind. They would have deserved it, barring any bullshit ref calls. But no, I do like the idea of a team getting it for the first time.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Let's see. Matthew Johnson says all of the players on the Bengals defense are players who everyone doesn't believe they are good. Funny fact, all the defensive starters for the Bengals are 3rd round or up draft picks. Wow.
Now let's be clear though.
Mhm.
Eli Apple is not a good cornerback.
Yeah, no doubt.
He talks so much trash. I just remember that he's on the Bengals defense, and he talks so much trash, but he gets dunked on all the fucking time.
Yeah,
there's a reason why he's not in New York anymore.
Yeah,
they ran him out of town. He's
they did.
not a good cornerback.
He's not that great. Yeah.
What
I'm saying, what I was saying
team,
earlier is true, Matthew Johnson, and that's a good friend of mine, Matthew. He's been over my house several times for football games, and he will probably be coming over for the Super Bowl. Let's be clear, it's the scheme there that's getting it done. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the caliber of the players. There's a reason why they weren't picked in the third and up draft picks. That's because they're not super great. Lord Toth says, "Oh wait, let's see. Oh wait for ref calls, dude. Wait for it." And Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs says, "Go Eagles." Hi, Joe. It's good to see you, darling. Good to see you. But yeah, I just feel like the Bengals are gonna get it done again, man. I think they're gonna be there. I'm looking forward to hopefully a Niners Bengals Super Bowl. But the Eagles. If you really look at it, it looks like it's going to be the Eagles and the Bengals.
So I guess so if that's the case, if we're going to go with the scenario of Bengals and Eagles, let's start with the 49ers. What do you do in the offseason?
Oh, man.
Because, you have Trey Lance and Garoppolo sitting there in the wings for next year. You got Purdy.
Trey Lance gets traded. If I'm running the show there, Trey Lance gets traded. He's gone.
Really? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Garoppolo's proven he can win games in that system.
I would definitely try to
he just keeps proving it. Okay?
If he's willing to stay, I would definitely try to keep Garoppolo.
And
he's proven to.
Why would you get rid of Purdy?
Yeah, for sure.
He's a perfect backup, right?
And he's cheap. He's cheap. You got him on a 4-year
so the
deal.
Man out
you literally have the cheapest possible player you can have at that position for the next 3 more years because of the rookie deal as Mr. Irrelevant. So he's getting bottom of the rung, as bottom as could be money, for a rookie. And for the next 3 years.
Real quick, before we get done with the Niners conversation, it's Courtney says Bengals, Eagles, and she says, I think Chiefs, Eagles would be more fun, though only because Andy Reid. And that's the other scenario of a lot of people rooting for the Andy Reid Bowl. So, yeah. But getting back to the Niners, go ahead and finish that thought you had.
I don't know.
You got distracted?
Yeah, I got distracted.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure we don't get to. She was throwing a lot of stuff at me. But yeah, I think Trey Lance is the odd man out. I think you trade him while you still have trade value for him because he hasn't been tarnished yet. It's not like he lost a bunch of games or anything. He got injured the first week of the season, so you could probably get some trade value out of him. And there's
I guess that's the thing. I guess that would be up to the management. Is do you believe Trey Lance could get you over that hump? Because this is a hump. This is a championship hump. At this point, or Super Bowl.
Would Frank Reich take him? Because he doesn't have a quarterback there.
No, but let's stick with the 49ers real quick though. Would they think that with Trey Lance coming back, that this would be, Trey Lance would lead them to the promised land? I think that would be the main question. And if not, then they should absolutely trade him.
Call me an idiot. If I'm John Lynch, I'd go with proven commodities.
Yeah, but Purdy.
Trey Lance has not proven shit yet.
If Purdy loses, then that would say he couldn't do it.
It's one game out of how many he's won in a row.
It's the game that matters, though.
It is the game that matters. But
if it's an unknown quantity,
you got to judge it on how he plays, right?
And unless you get there with Lance as well, you don't know how he would have played. So that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, do you think that maybe Trey Lance
hang
would
on to
have done it?
Garoppolo, and then the struggle is between those two?
Well, no, I'm saying it's a question that the ownership's going to have to ask themselves before they trade Trey Lance. Is do they think Trey Lance, if he had been in this game, would have pushed them over the edge? So I don't know. Wanted to know, Courtney.
No, I'm reading the chat. I'm sorry.
No, I know. I'm reading it too. The point, Courtney, is that I'm speaking of the fallout of it. No. I'm just saying. I'm asking your question. It matters for the 49ers because I'm speaking of next year. Mm-hmm. What I'm doing is the fallout.
And I've told you what I think. If I'm John Lynch, I'm trading Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's all we're talking about, Courtney. We're talking about the aftermath of it, and that's if the 49ers lose, what would they need to do to come back next year? That's you said if the 49ers are going to lose, what is it? So it doesn't matter. That's what we're discussing, the fallout. So,
Yeah.
it matters to me because it's football.
Yeah, right. And and let me tell you something about my man Noc. He loves running quarterbacks, and that's what Trey Lance is. So,
I don't love running quarterbacks.
You are such a liar. You've
I
been
like
riding
Justin
that dude
Fields.
from Chicago all year
No,
long.
I never
no matter
said-
how much
Yeah.
he lost. You was singing his praises every week.
And he did well when he played. It just sucked. So, I mean, that's all. I just their chance.
Oh,
I don't
man.
care for running quarterbacks in general, but whatever.
Well,
So let's go on to we got the Chiefs. So what do the Chiefs do? If the Bengals win,
mhm.
this will be the 5th Chiefs championship in the last 5 years, and they've only gone ahead twice.
And that's
So
that's where you now.
What do they
with
do?
This team, I can tell you what they do. What they need to do is fix the defense because the offense ain't the problem. The offense is not the problem.
Right.
We know this. So it's the defense. The defense is the problem with that team. When they lose games, it's because the defense can't stop somebody. So that's what you do in the offseason. You fix that defense. You get you a defensive coordinator like the Quinn guy, that kind of guy is few and far between, but you get somebody known for defense in there to be.
By the way, Dan Quinn did say he was going back to the Cowboys next year.
Yeah. We talked about that earlier. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I really think he's been dipping his toe in, taking these interviews just to see if something strikes him, but he knows. I think he knows and has been told he's next. That's why he's sticking around there. You know what I mean? That or the fact that, his court is relentless. Cowgirls, spoken like a true Eagles fan. It's either that or he's just enjoying being a coordinator because, dude, there's nothing wrong with the Cowboys defense. They played good enough to win last weekend. No doubt. About the only thing went wrong is when who was number 7 for them that dropped that ball. That interception was thrown right at him.
Oh, that's Diggs.
Yeah. That poor guy. I felt bad for him.
No, so all right. So it's pretty much the defense. It's a quarterback.
It's the defense for the Chiefs. You've got
quarterback for the
defense.
49ers. Decisions to be made there, and then the defense for the Chiefs. So let's flip it around then. So I got the 49ers winning over the Eagles. God forbid the Eagles lose because they've never done that, right, Courtney?
They've never done that in the championship game before, have they?
If the 49ers win, what do the Eagles need to do? This is probably the most balanced team of all the 4 teams left. And defense and awesome defense and offense have been really awesome this year. So what do they do? Is it a Jalen Hurts thing, which I don't think there's any dispute in that he's the franchise guy.
He's the franchise and
the defense and so it's a little kid. Does he need more weapons?
I think
they got freaking AJ Brown. They stole AJ Brown. The Titans
they did.
Literally like, oh, here's a pie on the windowsill.
Vrabel still has a bad
it.
taste in his mouth. I think that's why the GM got fired this year. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No doubt. There's no doubt.
He's upset about that still. Yeah. I think you improve their run defense and you improve their running game as far as a brawler type running back. They
need like a 1-2 punch, like a bruiser.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Because Miles Sanders, I can't see them getting rid of Miles
Sanders. The running defense and offense for the Eagles. If they end up losing, that's what's going to cost them. Like I was talking about earlier, if the Niners do what the Commandos did in that first loss, have these 8-9 minute drives where all they do is pound the rock right at them. You've got to say that's the weakness. And trust me, that's what the Niners are going to do today. They're going to dare them to stop them. Yeah. And so, and
if anyone's familiar with the Eagles, it's Kyle Shanahan. He's played against the Eagles quite a bit in the past. So, and then let's look at the Bengals. Well, what's
on.
going to cause the Bengals to lose?
They beat the Patsies in the Super Bowl. They are the GOAT. No, they're not the GOAT. Sorry. It took them an awful long time to get there.
You
And
get one trophy and it goes to your head. But
yeah, I swear to God. Come on. Do I need to bring up the 3 picks that Ron Jaworski threw in the Super Bowl? Do I need to bring that up? No, I don't think so. But anyway, let's see.
But no,
I had to say, baby, it's my ex-husband team, baby. And one game they've had to lose. Yeah, I hear you. Well, they've got to get there again, and they've only been a couple of times, and they've only won one. So history's against them, young lady. The Niners been there a lot more than that team has, and they have a much better record in that game too. But let's see.
So let's go with the Bengals. The Bengals, if the Bengals lose, I mean, it's got to be because of their offensive line, right?
The much maligned offensive line, yes, for sure.
And last week they overcame it in the snow, which is very impressive. That a broken line can do that in the snow against the Bills, which I think is a testament to how much they missed Von Miller, but still they did it.
Yes, absolutely. I discussed that during our discussion of the game before you came in. I asked what the factor of Von Miller not being there was, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I think it's a totally different game if he's there on the third down plays to rush the quarterback. So, I think if the Bengals lose today, it's just like the Chiefs. I don't think the offense is the problem. Maybe you help out the line a little bit, but the line is proven to improve. They made the right moves in the offseason. They improved during the season. So I'd say if it's what's going to cost them is their defense. If they lose a game, it's going to be because of their defense. It's not going to be because of the quarterback. Now, if, say, God forbid, Joe Burrow gets carted off in the first quarter, yeah, you got to fix the offensive line, right? But barring that, I'd say the defense.
So of these 4 teams, what do you think? Which of the 4 do you think could go into next year doing nothing?
The 49ers.
If they did absolutely nothing.
The 49ers. Doing absolutely nothing will be right here again.
Good. And this is, of course, assuming they keep everything that they have now.
Right.
Great teams always get broken apart in
these
days.
They do.
But assuming these teams pretty much stick together, and we know the 49ers are going to have their weapons for at least a couple years.
Yep.
They're going to try to keep those together. So it's definitely, it's interesting. I definitely like the 4 teams that have made it this year more so than the previous years.
Yeah.
But,
I think, the Niners are just, look, this is something me and my brother talk about all the time. He's a big football nut, and I'm going to try and get him to do this show with us next year because you'd enjoy talking to him about football. But great organizations are built from the top down, and they've got a good ownership group. And I don't think you get a better general manager than John Lynch. The guy, he knows what he's looking for. The synergy between him and Shanahan is really, really good. They're looking for the same kind of guys. You know what I mean? The same kind of physical football players. And they're going to keep picking the right guys, it looks like to me.
I think Elway really started that trend of former players coming in and filling up those GM vice president
Elway
spot.
did a great job at it too in Denver. He
kind of fell off, but
he got you but he got you 2 championships.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, yes, it's fallen off. The one he always gets wrong is drafting a quarterback. That's what he always gets wrong. And I don't understand that. Him being a quarterback, you'd think he'd know all about that shit. That's the one he always screws up.
Well, he put a lot into Brock Osweiler, and then
he did.
And then Osweiler left. I think that's what really screwed up a lot of the plans. And then Osweiler ended up playing like shit everywhere else he went. Yeah. And he played, okay
every time I watch the Buffalo Bills, I see John Elway playing quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. That's exactly what That's exactly what Josh Allen looks like, is John Elway. If you watch Elway's old footage, that's him, man. That's him. Nobody wants to tackle him when he gets the ball.
I can see Josh Allen doing a helicopter trying to get into
yes,
the
absolutely.
That definitely is his
giving
vibe.
a shit. Yeah,
Yeah, he'll put his body forward for sure. Of course,
Let's
Elway
see,
at the end of his
by the
career
way,
will
Joe,
say, "Gotta
you
be
sound
strong
like
now."
a great sports commentator. Oh, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Both of you together are great, actually. Okay,
Oh, thank you.
bye. All right, you be good, Courtney.
Yeah,
Thanks for stopping by.
let those dogs
darling.
out. Yeah, so she's gonna let the dogs out.
Yeah.
Let them go to the bathroom.
It's just us loving. This is the sport we dig. He and I have been playing Madden with each other for years, and we're always talking football. So, and we have very different ways of going about it. He builds a great offense and destroys me every year on Madden, but every once in a while, I get the defense peaking at the right time, and I get him. Every once in a while.
When I get sloppy,
when he gets sloppy, I get him. Usually when he's had a couple of beers, I get him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's because I keep the defense ready. The defense is always ready for those mistakes. She says she's more of a hockey girl than
Courtney, go let those dogs out. They're waiting
right?
for you.
Get going now.
God, they're doing the pee dance right now. She's like, I gotta talk more.
Nah, I love my girl Courtney. She's one of the ones that has a standing invitation for the Wednesday night show I do. State of the Atmosphere. But anyway, getting back to football. These teams all have weaknesses. They all have strengths, but I think the team that with the least amount of weaknesses in totem, not right now specifically, but in totem as organizations, the one with the least amount and the team that could definitely not make a move and keep rolling, that's the 49ers. No doubt about it. In my mind.
Yeah, I would think the Eagles fall under that bill, because I just think overall that the defense has been
but their owner's crazy.
Top-notch too.
Their owner's crazy though.
Well,
he's bound to
really
screw that up eventually. But yes, organizationally, yes, they've got a good GM. Their head coach is good, and I tell you, out of the 4 head coaches, Shanahan's the best. He's got the most experience, but second on my list, Zach Taylor. Nobody is singing his praises.
I think
that guy is doing
the one with
the
most experience. Held on now. The one with the most experience is Andy Reid.
Of course it's Reid.
There's no way you can compare his experience.
I just don't count Reid, man. I
he is older.
Do.
He is older, Joe.
I understand that. But here's my problem with Reid. Okay. This is my essential problem with Reid for many, many years. And I saw it happen. The last game they played, they tried to get the 3rd and short and they couldn't. They cannot run for a yard when they have to, ever. He is an offensive guru, but he cannot. And
they never need to, because they just throw to the flat and it's always open for some reason.
But you have to be able to get a yard on 3rd and 1 every once in a while, and they can't do it. His Eagles teams never could do it, and the friggin' Chiefs can't do it. When they
every time I see him get on the excuse me, every time I see him do it, it's always a flat pass,
a screen pass, something. It's not a straight up run, So,
and then they usually convert it when it's that way. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's always been my issue. That's always been my issue with Andy Reid's football teams, is they can't run it, for a yard when they need to in the middle of the field.
I really like that little dude though that they have, that little Pachenko. My goodness,
yeah.
Where the hell did he come from? I don't even know. I don't know what
Here's
happened.
Here's my question. What the hell happened to Edwards-Helaire?
That's what I'm wondering too. I have no idea. He just kind of disappeared. I
don't know.
Did he get injured?
Was knocking it out of the park for last year, 2 years.
Did he get injured or something? I don't even know.
I don't know. I was asking my brother the other day about that, and he doesn't know.
Where's our research? Where's John? Where's John at? We need John to come into the chat and be like,
Das Wolfen hit the keypad. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, let's make that some homework before the Super Bowl. If the Chiefs make it, we need to find out what's up with Edwards-Helaire and find out if he's injured or what.
But Pachenko has been really good though. He just seems to always rip. He's like Pollard. Like, he just needs to make big plays.
He's a scat back. Yes, I was going to say that. He's a guy that in space will hurt you, but he is not going to nose it in on 3rd and 1.
No,
he's not doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
No. So
No,
that's Edwards-Helaire's job. Where's he at?
He has a better chance of like jumping to the outside and just running 20 yards outside and getting that
Right.
1 yard.
Yeah. He's got to have space. Yes. Breaking ankles in the open field, he's really good at. Yep. So what else do we want to talk about before we get out of here? Because
So we have 4 remaining coaching spots.
this is true.
We have 4. So we have, I think Dan Quinn's out of the running. The Panthers are out of the running. I think so. We have
your ex-head coach. Hang on, before we get started on that, what do you think of these rumors that there may be a trade talks going on between the Packers and the Jets? Because Hackett is the new offensive coordinator
for the Jets. Yeah,
for the Jets.
I could care less about that guy. I don't know.
I understand you've got a sour taste in your mouth about his head coaching, but he was at his best with Aaron Rodgers, right? That's how he got that gig.
I don't know. I guess you're only bringing it up because we're talking head coaches, but
right.
I could care less about those 2 teams, so I don't.
Okay. Well, it's just a rumor.
I don't have an opinion on that particular front.
So, who now you follow the Broncos pretty close? Who have they interviewed so far? Has Peyton talked to them yet?
So they did Jim Harbaugh. They did Sean Payton. They did DeMeco Ryan, who's coming out as a front runner as well, which I would accept.
Yeah. What you? The guy that can't stand having a defensive coach? What?
I was very glad that Dan Quinn was staying in Dallas. I didn't want Dan Quinn. Yeah. I don't think he's a great head coach. I don't think he would fix our offense.
No.
But at least with DeMeco Ryan, one, he's up and coming, which I would really like an up and coming coach. It would be really nice to get an up and coming coach.
Right.
The players would love him.
He's the next linebacker in the NFL. Yes.
So and I think he would get the most out of our and they would have to, I think, look for an awesome offensive coordinator for sure.
Yeah. That
and maybe someone that can work with Russell, and then that would be a huge thing.
That's the most important thing. I don't even know that the head coach is the most important thing for you guys. It's the offensive scheme being changed to fit your quarterback.
Yeah, and I think with Sean Payton, that could certainly happen. It would be Sean Payton's scheme with someone calling the plays, but it'd be under Sean Payton's purview, which would be good. But no, and then so we have the Texans, and who we got? The Colts. Colts didn't interview Sean Payton at all. I don't know who the Colts have interviewed at all. If anybody, they're probably just sticking with Jeff Saturday. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh God, who knows?
Right?
Jeffrey Lue's a maniac. Who knows?
So who else? Who's the 4th one? You got the Colts, Broncos, Texans, and who else is there? Because there was 5, and then the Panthers got
Colts,
theirs.
Broncos, Panthers have theirs. Oh God! If you hadn't asked me, I would have known. Texans, and the last one is 3 guys got cut loose during the season: Broncos, Panthers. I can't remember. Good Lord Almighty!
Cardinals.
The Cardinals. That's it. That's it.
And I can't. I just. Oh man.
Who would want that job? Who would want that fucking job?
And because we all know that they're going to have to get a 1-year guy, and it's going to be like, I think Lovie Smith.
Is perfect.
Yeah, he should make a career out of just going to places for 1 year,
being the gap filler, right?
Yeah, and I don't.
He's Drew Bledsoe of head coaches. Yes, he's the Drew Bledsoe.
But there's definitely got to be a guy that's going to be going in there, going, yeah, I'm going to only be here for probably a year. Get some old retired guy that doesn't feel like coming back full time, but just wants to coach again, and just be like, just do what you can for this year. Maybe bring back an old coach. Get Bruce Arians back for a little bit. Or something like that, and just be like, hey, just do something for the year.
I don't want to see Bruce Arians coaching that team again. Don't you speak that shit into existence. They'll be in the NFC Championship game next year. Mr. Risk It, no biscuit.
But it's just, yeah. So I don't feel like, the Cardinals are a threat to get Sean Payton or DeMeco Ryan. So I think DeMeco Ryan gets ahead.
You got to worry about the Texans getting.
It's the Texans for sure.
like we talked about earlier, does he want to? Does he want?
I think that's it. It just comes down to that.
A small window, or does he want to do it? Build a team from the
Especially
ground up for a decade.
Especially with the Panthers taking off the board, that took up another rebuild option, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it just, to me, it just seems like clear cut. It's Texans and Broncos. Those are your two.
I can't see him wanting to go to Arizona. Good Lord.
Right, exactly, because that's not a rebuild or nothing. You have to wait for Kyler Murray to come
He's
back.
not going to coach Kyler Murray.
So I mean,
guarantee you, the second he saw Kyler Murray yelling at Cliff Kingsbury and Kingsbury not saying anything about it, I guarantee you he don't want to coach.
That's the thing. So who's going to want to coach the Cardinals knowing that you don't have a quarterback for most of the year, if at all, next year? But he's going to be looming because you can't get rid of him.
But you got to pay him, which means you're not getting anybody either.
Yeah. So it's just, so who wants to step in? I don't think the Cardinals are very attractive. So it's just, it's got to come down to just the Broncos and the. Now I don't know if the Colts have gone after DeMeco Ryans either.
Personally, because I would like to see Russ go out on the good foot. I really would.
I would love to see that too.
Yeah, I know you would. Because you're an offensive guy and nobody screams offense like Sean Payton. But I got to tell you, he knows what to do with your defense too. Because you can say what you want about Drew Brees and how many yards they put up and how well they ran the football and they run screens like nobody's business. You know what? When they won that Super Bowl, I want to say 2-3 weeks before the season was over with, they played the Patriots down in the Superdome, and it was a foreshadowing of things to come. 5 minutes left in the game. Patriots are down by 10. How many times has Tom Brady come back from that knock? A bunch, right? Yeah. Belichick pulled him out of the game, said, come here, stand by me on the sidelines. Let's talk about this because they're trying to kill you. They're trying to kill you. Let the backup take the lumps. We got a playoff. Is that
during Bounty Gate?
No, exactly. That's what it turned out being. But look at what that defense did on that Super Bowl run. They made Belichick pull the goat to make sure he didn't get hurt. Listen to me. Let me finish. I
don't care about this conversation. It's what
I
Courtney
don't care
just said.
if you like it or not. It's my show. I can talk about what I want. They went into divisional weekend and sent Brett Favre, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, to the retirement couch, beat the shit out of him. There was famous pictures of his legs all bruised up. And then they knocked Kurt Warner in the championship game the opposite. Divisional weekend, they did it to Kurt Warner. Then they did it to Brett Favre. And then they beat Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. They beat 4 of the greatest quarterbacks ever and beat them up. That defense that Sean Payton was the head coach for. Go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to point out what Courtney just said, and I need to nip this in the bud.
Yeah.
What teams do you both normally root for? I think mine is pretty obvious.
Oh, mine's the Seahawks. I'm a big Seahawks fan.
I don't think I can get any more obvious with my emblem that is showing on the screen right now.
It's right there. It's on the screen for him, and right now it's on the screen for me. This is my team. Matter of fact, my favorite player ever. There's his signature right there. See, it says HOF 95. Yeah, Steve Largent, greatest wide receiver ever. Yes.
That's all I wanted to make clear.
Okay. Sorry about that, man. I just wanted to finish my point because a lot of people forget that. Drew Brees, this, offense, that. You know what? Last time I checked, the last score in that game was a Peyton Manning interception for 6 points. So,
we picked up Darren. Was it? Oh God, who was the one that made that pick? We picked up that cornerback in Denver.
Yeah.
The one that made the interception. He ended up having some like blood clot issues or whatever, so he couldn't really play in Denver, I don't think.
Wow.
So, but we actually picked that guy up for a while.
Yeah, I can't even remember that kid's name now. But yeah, their defense
Tracy Porter, I think it was.
They had that's it. Porter.
Yeah.
That's him. But that defense had a historic run. They really did. They took on 4 of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game and beat them up. Made them look human, So
No,
Anyway.
I'm not in Carolina or Colorado there, Courtney. I joined the Elway bandwagon back in
Yeah.
'98 and
Mhm.
been watching the Broncos ever since.
I thought that was like a slideshow, haha.
Yeah.
But anyway,
No, I came in late this morning. I'm not ready. I'm not prepared to be on camera. So
that's it. He's not ready. His voice is the only thing ready with him. So yeah, he got up late. But okay, so the teams that are without a coach, yeah, we're pretty much set that it's if he wants a long rebuild everything, give me the general manager and the head coaching gig. He's going to Houston.
And he would have more power in Texas as well. So I think
absolutely would. But I don't know if he's. I don't know, man. I can't speak for the guy.
Right.
I know he's not going to Dallas. If they fire McCarthy tomorrow, all these Dallas Cowboys fans are just waiting for him to come back. And I'm like, no, he may have a home there, but you know what? He'll retire there. He's not going to coach you guys. He will not go to work for Jerry Jones because he knows Jerry Jones is going to throw grenades into his house, man. You know, I don't know why anybody would want to coach in Dallas. It's freaking ridiculous to me. But
so he can marry one of his daughters. I don't know. Who knows?
Kind of like Garrett. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, what else do we want to talk about this fine championship weekend before we get out of here, man?
Oh, man. So with our picks, is that your so we have 4 different scenarios here, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
We have four different potential games. I know we mentioned Philly and Kansas as the Andy Reid
Kansas
Bowl.
City, yeah, the Andy Reid Bowl. Then you got Joe Burrow getting them over the Niners hump, right? You got that one.
Yeah, and then you have Cincinnati and the Eagles. How about that?
That's
right.
That would be bet the over,
right? And of course, you have the rematch with San Francisco and Kansas City. You know, I just think every combination you can think of here is just.
You've got the top 4 teams.
You really do.
The top 4 teams got here. No doubt about it. Yeah.
And even if the Bills had made it, they would have been in that conversation too.
No, I don't think they would have. And I think,
really,
yeah. And I think the Bengals knocking them out would, look, this is the thing about the Buffalo Bills to me. Their quarterback, he's Cam Newton all over again, man. I'm sorry. I gotta call it the way I see it. I don't think he's a smart quarterback. I don't think he is. I think they run the football well and he throws it 50 yards and hopes his guys get under it. He's got really good receivers. I mean, and he's a threat on the ground. But you know what? How old is he now? It's going to start showing. He's going to start getting hurt. It's coming. And he depends on that shit too much.
So I guess if he doesn't have the ability to run, he'll pass more, which will cause more.
Which will cause more mistakes. Yes, sir.
Cause and effect. Yeah. Gotcha.
Exactly. That's it. He's got to work on recognition of defenses and things like that. Because you saw when they faced a good defense, he threw picks in the red zone this year. Multiple times. You know what I'm saying? So he's got to work on reading a defense. He's got to study. I mean, the guy, don't get me wrong. The kid's exciting to watch. He's got a lot of energy and God love him. He puts his body on the line for that football team, but we've talked about it before this season. He's got to learn when to slide. He's got to learn when to not throw that ball. He's got to learn that stuff. And he just depends too much on his wheels and his size, I will give it to him. He can throw a touch pass occasionally, but he's got to work on that and add that to his game. If he adds that one thing to his game, being able to drop it in a bucket a little better, then he could be dominating, really.
I'm a little curious because you talk about Josh Allen's, weaknesses. Mm-hmm. How much would it be covered up if they had a better defense? Because when you have if Josh Allen was able to do enough to get the points and their defense was actually good, mm-hmm. Von Miller led good,
right?
Like, would this be a discussion where we're pointing out all these faults because
changes with Von Miller in it, and it
Because we could point out, Josh Allen's mistake, but like that defense did not do really a good job against the Bengals.
No, they got pushed around. Is what they got.
So
they got
curious,
manhandled, especially in the trenches. This maligned front line dominated them.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Burrow could make a sandwich back there. He could.
Yeah.
And
so I'm a little curious. Maybe the defense needs to be focused more than actually Josh Allen. But not saying that Josh Allen can't improve on things at all. But it's definitely the defense that got him in this one.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You have to be able to stop the bleeding at some point to come back in the game, and they never did. It just snowballed on them in the snow.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm looking forward to whatever matchup we get. We got 4 damn good
honestly,
they all do different things well.
I just want good games. That's all I'm hoping for today.
2 of them are really good at the AFC teams. They're really good at passing the ball.
If we can get anything like the semifinals of the college football games where they're both down to like field goals, I'd be all for that.
And you know what? I know for sure the AFC game, whoever's got the ball last, it's an offensive game.
Oh man, and that's another discussion right there. Is look at the quarterbacks for the AFC for the next 10 years, and look at the quarterbacks for the NFC.
God, the friggin' rivalries that are going to be coming up.
It's just so crazy how stacked the AFC side is as far as quarterbacks go.
Yeah, when it comes to quarterback, you've got Herbert, you've got Burrow, you've got Mahomes as the old man now.
Right.
And you can say that about Lamar Jackson too. He's getting into old man range when it comes to these guys. And you got Trevor.
Well, talk about someone that needs to, learn to pass better and not rely on his wheels.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Not depend on his wheels so
much.
About
Cam Newton
but
there.
That's what they built that offense to do. Okay. I don't know that they built the Bills offense for him to run all the time. I don't think that's the case there. So,
it's true.
But I'm with you on the quarterback level in the AFC.
It's like, what do you got on the NFC side? You got Hurts. You got, I don't know. Do you count Purdy in that? I don't know if you do or not.
The more the game changes, the more the game stays the same. Where you have all these great offenses in the AFC, that's how that league started. They threw the football. But you know what? The NFC has always been the grinded out, beat your ass up, running defense conference. It always has been.
Okay.
And that's what we're seeing. Look at the 2 teams that are playing for the NFC Championship game this day. What is the strength of both of those teams? It's running the fucking rock right down your throat. I mean, just look. What's the play that stands out in your mind for the Eagles this year? Is it some big throw that Hurts throws? No, it's how they've adapted the quarterback sneak to get 5 yards out of it now because there's a mass of bodies pushing people out of the way. They're that good at running the football. You've got to be able to get the Hurts to stop them. You know what I mean? Because if he's allowed to run, he's going to hurt your ass. And it's built that way.
So how well can the 49ers contain him? That's definitely going to be
that's the thing.
One of the factors.
It's going to be a big factor. And I don't know if playing the Seahawks twice a year is going to prepare them for that. You know what I'm saying? Playing Kyler Murray the little bit they hurt Kyler Murray this year.
No, Kyler Murray hurt himself. He
that's right. That's right. He wasn't even touched, was he?
He ran and then fell down and then did like what was it?
But you understand what I'm saying? The NFC is all about defense and running the ball.
Yeah.
It has been traditionally. And the AFC, it was built on this. It was built on flashy, let's get people in the stands to watch great offenses. And it's like that now, So you can say what you want about Joe Montana's Niners when he was winning Super Bowls. The very first Super Bowl they won against the Bengals, the very first one he won a Super Bowl ring for, it was known for a goal line stand that the Niners had against the Bengals on the goal line. Shut them down. They had like 6 cracks with a penalty. Couldn't do it. Those teams had some great defenses. Ken Norton Jr. was a linebacker on a lot of those teams, and they had great. Well, John Lynch was playing for that team at that time. So yeah, I mean, NFC's defensive running game, AFC great offenses, great quarterbacks. Dan Fouts, right? Eric Coryell, Terry Bradshaw, chucking it 50 yards to Swan and Stallworth, although that team could run the football too. But yeah.
All right, so I gotta go again. All right, Courtney. So I got one last question
Take care, darling.
for you.
Good to see you.
I got one last question for you.
Okay.
All right, and this is for all 4 teams.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In the off season, you get to choose one player from whatever team, however you get him, doesn't matter. You pick one player, you plug him in, and this team is a Super Bowl favorite again. What's the one player you would pick for
one player for each team?
Yeah,
okay.
Something that you think would plug in and be immediately just take them over the top.
Team.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll start with the 49ers. We'll start with what's one player you think could come in?
One player to make them a Super Bowl victor next year,
like
barring injuries and shit? Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Really?
Aaron
Quarterback.
Rodgers.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about it.
I mean,
they're getting there with 3 different quarterbacks this year, right? Imagine if they had consistency at quarterback.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Okay. That would be crazy. If he complained about his receivers,
he wouldn't complain about his receivers.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No. I feel you on that one.
Next team.
Philly.
Philly needs a defensive tackle. Whoever the best defensive tackle is in the league right now. I don't even know anymore.
Don't they have,
I would say somebody.
Fletcher Cox right now? Isn't he the Phillies?
Fletcher Cox is a pass rusher. He's decent against the run. I'm talking about somebody that's just fucking downright mean. Okay, like
a Shelby Harris or the guy we traded for the Seahawks. He's up the middle. Oh, he's just he's a hog.
Yeah,
he's just
a guy that takes up 2 or 3 blockers
and
gets other guys wide open to rush the quarterback. That's what I'm talking about. A space eater,
like a Vince Wilfork. Remember that guy?
Yes, exactly.
That sounds like what you're looking for.
Like a Gerald McCoy. Like what's that guy's name that bounced around forever? Actually, he got a ring with the Bucks when
Ndamukong Suh.
Ndamukong Suh, a guy like that, a huge space eater that's mean. Albert Hainsworth. That mean motherfucker for the Titans back in the day.
And that goes towards your what you were talking about for Philly for the run game. And that would
run game.
Be,
exactly.
Yeah, gotcha.
Fletcher Cox, don't get me wrong, I'm not diminishing him, but he's a pass rusher, man. He's like John Randall was. John Randall played defensive tackle, but you could put him out at end too. He's just fast, quick off the ball. But you could get past him with the running game. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way Fletcher Cox is. Okay, next.
Gotcha. Okay, how about Cincinnati?
Cincinnati. If I was going to improve that team, a great left tackle. I think the front line is still a suspect there.
Maybe like a Trent Williams.
Yeah. I of course think of my guy Walter Jones, but that's who I think of when I think great left tackle. I'd say a guy that you don't need to even worry about for a decade at left tackle. Yeah, a monster of a guy.
I can see that. Yeah, definitely the offensive line. So you don't think any star like actually because I know we discussed that they're more of a scheme on defense, but you don't think like just a all out T.J. Watt, Von Miller pass rusher.
No,
or maybe they don't need it.
I think if you're going to build a defense around somebody, sure. But as far as filling a gap, no. They have too many gaps, if you understand what I'm saying. I can't fill one gap and fix that defense kind of thing.
Gotcha.
I can fix that front line with a great left tackle, though. Because if you got a left tackle that can take on pass rushers, everybody else gets to play whatever part they want on that front line. Really, it's proven. I mean, just look at We will lost the Super Bowl against Pittsburgh, but watch that front line the entire season. Most teams, when they run the football, they run to the right. Why? Because they have their least experienced linemen on that side, and they tend to be more comfortable mauling people. So they'll run to the right side, right? You watch Sean Alexander run for the Seahawks back in the day. It was Walter Jones and God, I can't even remember the damn left guard's name. Hutchinson. That's it. Hutchinson was his left guard. They had so much power on that side of the ball. They ran to the left every fucking play because they were fucking knocking people over and looking for somebody to hit. Both of them were. So, yeah, that's what I would say. Left tackle for the Bengals.
Yeah, sure. All right. So last one, Kansas City.
Kansas City, what do they need?
Mm.
God almighty. Well, my biggest gripe. Well, no, wait. Whoa, wait a minute. Let me think. They need a middle linebacker. They have a good pass rusher in Frank Clark. Is the Honey Badger injured? Or he's not playing there anymore?
I don't think he's there anymore.
He's not there anymore. Yeah, they need a great middle linebacker. They need a middle linebacker, man. Yeah. They need a Bobby Wagner type.
Wagner?
Yeah. Whatever that guy's name was in Carolina for so many years. Kuechly. Yeah, they need a guy like that. They need a Fred Warner. They need what the Niners have. They need a Fred Warner. You know? Yeah, that's what they need. For sure.
Little tougher to fill on the defensive side for Kansas City because
it is. They've got a lot of holes. They got a lot of holes. But if you fix the quarterback position of the defense there, I think you've already got a pass rusher. You've got some good secondary pieces. I think that a good play caller and communicator at the quarterback position, and that's what the middle linebacker is, guys. If you don't understand this about defense is about how strong are you up the middle. Defensive tackle or a great defensive end. Middle linebacker, one of your safeties has got to be great too. Okay? You look at all the great defenses. You can say what you want about that Seahawks team that I know you don't like to talk about them because of what happened in the Super Bowl, but there's a reason why it happened. Okay. They had Cliff Averill rushing the passer. They had Bobby Wagner in the middle, communicate with all these guys. And they had Cam Chancellor at strong safety. And everybody always likes to talk about the free safety, got all the picks. I don't give a shit. It was Cam Chancellor that was the straw that stirred the drink, and that defense went straight downhill whenever he got injured and had to retire.
Well, look, I I don't reference that game very often, but it was one that we were a phoenix in the ashes on that one because Elway was like, "Wait a second,
I need this.
I need that." I need that
right there.
So then
I've been going about this the wrong way.
He built the Orange Crush, and we came back 2 years later. And, looking at that game, what they did against Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers destroyed everybody in the playoffs.
They nuked everybody.
Absolutely.
And their strength was the running game. It was like watching this year's Eagles. They were nuking people with that running game, and it opened up things where Cam could throw it 50 yards downfield. And
he had all the time in the world. And then, wait, look at this. You have the Broncos who aren't going to let him do a 10-second windup with his arm and then smack it out of his hand. They didn't adjust for that. Like Cam Newton apparently can't adjust to throwing faster. So that was with it. That was all game long where he just took forever he was waiting for.
And the thing I love about that game. Loved about it because I never did like him with the Superman thing and all that. I thought he was way too cocky for never winning a ring. But the business decision is the thing I always remember about that Super Bowl when he fumbled it.
Yeah,
and he went and he took a step and he said, "Wait, there's so many bodies going in there. I'm going to stand back a minute."
Yeah, all like reaching out for dear life for that thing. And he's like, "Nah,
not so much.
I'm good. I'm good." Oh yeah, he still gets hate for that for sure to this day.
Sure.
I had a question for Lord Thoth though, because he says he's from Ottawa, or he's posted in Ottawa, Canada.
I'm in Ottawa, Canada. Yeah, he is.
Lord Thoth, do you watch any Canadian football? I'm curious about that.
Yeah. Do you watch the CFL? Because
I I
My
actually
man
watched
Noc
this year.
watches
Yeah.
every kind of football there is.
I started this year. I discovered. I won't say I discovered it, but I actually acknowledged it this year because I do.
Are you serious, man? As much as you like offensive football, you need to keep watching that stuff, dude. All they do is throw.
Oh, Tightcast. Okay, all right. Yeah, no, I watched it this year. This is the first year I actually watched because all the games were on ESPN Plus.
Mhm.
So I could watch literally every single, and then they did the replay. Like you could actually go back and watch a replay of all the games. So I would literally watch. There's only like 4 or 5 games a week, so it's not that hard to keep up on. It was a little harder once the NFL started because obviously, but their Grey Cup is in it. Was it November? October, November. So it cuts off pretty early into the NFL season. But yeah, I kept up with that. It was one of the that summer of football love that I was. I had the European League going, which was pretty fun to watch. I had Canadian football. Now this year we're going to have not only USFL,
Wow,
we're gonna
mighty
have XFL.
XFL is next, isn't it?
It's February 18th. February 18th. Yeah. Yeah, I like the CFL because there was it was definitely a lot of offense, and their point. Like I had to learn what a rogue was, which is it's an
you can get a point on the kickoff with a rouge
or a missed field goal or anything like that.
Rouge, bro. Remember, it's French.
A rouge. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Rouge. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's probably like rogue. What an idiot. But a rouge. No, I had to learn because when I first started watching Canadian football, it was why and it's 3 downs instead of 4. So yeah, you have to do something. But it was really weird because I would watch the highlights and I'm like, why the fuck did they get an extra point? Where did that come from? Because they don't show those in the highlights. They don't in the YouTube videos.
Where are all these points coming from? They're not showing.
And they showed some games where like the end of the game was decided because of a rouge.
A rouge, yeah.
And it's so fascinating to me, and I think that's the reason why I watch these other
to see how they could tweak the NFL,
how they do different
game, right?
Yes, because I can only imagine like some of these. My biggest proponent for rule change is the onside kick. I want that to be changed as an option to be changed to 4th and 12 or 4th and 15 on their side of the field.
And we're doing that in which league? They're doing that in the
USFL does it.
USFL is doing it, right? Yeah.
So USFL does 4th and 12. The XFL is going to do 4th and 15. But only in the 4th quarter. USFL, I think you could do it any quarter. I believe. But
I'm
the
pretty
XFL
sure you can do it at any time. Yeah.
In the XFL, it's
nobody
only
took advantage of it though.
Not really. No,
nobody did.
No, but I would really like it to be an option, especially for a team like the Chiefs or the Bills or the Bengals, like
guys that can get that amount.
Exactly. I would really. Yeah. That's one thing, and it's an option too, so you can always still go for. But they looked at the stat. And I think it's like a 10% better chance or something like that over an onside kick. I don't know if those are real numbers or not. I'm just kind of making that up. But it would be really awesome to see just some kind of difference in the rules. And I think that's probably the biggest rule that I've seen that I would like to see implemented in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, he watches every kind of football there is, guys, for sure. Know that about Noc now. He's always researching how to finesse the game to get more points because he's an offensive guy.
Well, I just like seeing the different rules and
yeah. Whereas me, I dig the defense. I see Noc cannot watch a 12-13 game and enjoy it. He can't. It's boring to him.
Well, I think there's a difference between a defensive game and just bad offenses.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I tell you,
soccer,
one of the best NFC Championship games I ever saw was the one between the Niners and the Giants in '91. When the Giants won the Super Bowl for, I think it was the second time, might have been the first time, but only one touchdown was scored in the game. It was a quick slant to Jerry Rice that went to the house. Everything else was field goals, and the Giants won it. It was an amazing game. I think the final score was like 12-10, something like that. But man, it was the day that Joe Montana got his back broken, was out of the league for damn near 2 years.
And there's only certain teams where I can like with the I used to enjoy the Steelers and Ravens games.
Yeah, those
were defensive battles,
defensive struggles. Those games were.
Those weren't because of bad offense. Those were because the Ravens at that time were kind
great
of bad
defenses. Great defenses, both of them.
But there was great defenses for sure, and you know, I can watch great defense. It's when you know the ball is constantly overthrown or thrown to the ground, and not just because of pass rush, but because of just bad passing,
bad passes,
you know, just bad offense. That's when I can't watch a low scoring.
Yeah, those games suck. We all hate those, but
you get
really
run
good
1
smash
yard.
mouth defensive games. Oh man, they're great to watch. I tell you what. Okay, boys and girls, we're gonna cut it off for today. We're at the 2-hour mark, and I've got a show in an hour.
I got to eat breakfast or lunch.
Yeah. You got up and got on here, didn't you? It's time to eat. Well, listen, let me let you guys know what's going on with the channel. Of course, in an hour, I will be on Pop Culture Minefield's channel for Dork Side of the Ring, and that one's brought to you by Pop Culture Minefield. Check us out on that channel or the Dork Knights channel. I think he's simulcasting on both, but definitely on Pop Culture Minefield's channel. And they'll be broadcasting everything they do on KGRA Digital Broadcasting starting Wednesday this week. And of course, today's show is going to be all about last night's Royal Rumble results. I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't seen it here, but if you haven't, give it a quick watch before you come see us, because we're going to be talking about it for sure. And then tonight, about 11 o'clock Central Time, midnight Eastern, I'll be on Twitch for Papa Joe Gamer after dark, playing. I change games every hour and just have fun talking to the chat over there on Twitch. And then Monday afternoon at 4 o'clock, I'll be on That 70s Rock Fans channel. I hope that Courtney will make it over there to be with me on the panel. Razor Fist is going to be on, and so is Tom from Midnight's Edge. And we're going to do our second part of the Canon Films. It's going to be concentrating on the ninja movies this time. So tune in for that at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern. And then, of course, you got my show on my channel where my friends like Noc and Small Time Republic and several others. Courtney shows up there every once in a while when she's not busy for State of the Atmosphere. That's where I get together with the chat for a couple of hours and just talk about the events of the day. And, of course, my brother and I cut through today's headlines, the Matrix, as we call it. The brothers hack the Matrix every Thursday, 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. And on Saturday afternoons, you get to watch me create my comic book from the ground up with Justifier Jim on Sketching the Privateer at 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern. So for myself and Noc, I hope you enjoy the championship games today. I'm going to enjoy them. I'm going to go on to Dork Side of the Ring for about an hour, and then I'm going to get out of there and enjoy the best 4 teams in the NFL kicking the crap out of each other for the right to go to the Super Bowl and win a championship.
Yeah.
So you guys take it easy. Have a great championship Sunday. And until I see you again, I want you guys to keep on keeping on. God bless.